Let's remove that. I might need to go blow my nose. Holy crap, allergies are bad today. All right, let's grab my current slide deck. All right, let's take this, documents, conferences. Let's go into here, new folder, EffectTS 25. And then we'll take you into there. Where'd they go? Slides. All right, great. I probably didn't push all the code I needed to. All right. Conferences, EffectTS. All right, great. You ever do teaching? I do conference speaking. I've never done like direct teaching. I do like some stuff, some educational stuff occasionally on stream. One or two YouTube videos, but not directly. I think I'd be good at it, but it's just not something I've done before. We're gonna go to Drive. Anders, did Justine DM you on Twitter last night? What is this? Ah, shit, I need to get... She didn't? Oh, she was supposed to DM you on Twitter last night. I'll wait for her to get back. She has a TikTok to show you. It's the most triggering thing in the world. I hate Google Drive. Google Drive might be the worst UX of all time. All right. So I am writing most of my slide deck right now in Markdown. I've always done my presentations just straight up in here, but then I spend so much time like getting every tiny little detail of the slides done that like I waste so much time on design up front of the slides and transitions and stuff that I would just be much better served by writing all the content first. So here's the slides I have right now. I deleted some because I keep having to edit lists. Like each of these will come in, but these are still changing. I don't know if these are the final list because I had spent like, let's just say 10 minutes adding where they popped in one by one here. Would you be able to explain in 1 to 3 minutes what the most important key part to coding is? Yes, I think I could talk about this. I could talk about this for a lot longer than 1 to 3 minutes, but to be brief, I think the most important part of coding is curiosity. I think you need to be curious to become a truly great programmer. I think you can be an excellent programmer without being curious or even caring about the profession. But I think the people that really stand out are curious and are always pulling back the layers of what they're working with. I think what makes good code is part of what I talk about even on this slide is considering Ryan Gosling's dick. God damn, I'm trying to talk about what's important in coding. That comes through my headset. I think focusing on how your application can fail and giving good error messages to your users and handling errors correctly. There's a really good, let me see if I can find this. No, this isn't it. I don't know if I'm gonna find this. Let's see here. I can probably get it on X. I've tweeted about this before. From at Dylan_Mulroy Wix. Here we go. Like, say what happened, say why it happened, provide reassurance, help them fix it, and then give them a way out. Like, this is one of my favorite screenshots of all time. So you coding to make a slideshow presentation? I am making a presentation for a conference talk on Friday that I'm giving in Friday in Richmond, Virginia, and then that I'm also giving in Italy next week. Okay. So most of my slides, I want to get the content into this just markdown file, and then I'm going to translate it back into the what's it called, the slide deck. Kept the hair free. The request function is not working. Yeah, it did. Kraut requested a song and it worked. All right, where were we? The case study, the power of an error, 3 error types. Anders, I'm talking about renewals as part of this conference talk. Domains. Had the highest certificates next. Billing. Three error types. Teach reduction CSCs. This is what my tweet was about last night. I was working on this a little bit. I'm just gonna go grab that screenshot while I have it and it's fresh in my mind. right here, this tweet. TypeScript/JavaScript happy path blindness is real. Go through a critical code path in your application and note every single place an error can be thrown. Are you handling each appropriately? We did this for our domain renewal flow. We went from 3 errors to 17. When I first started working on our renewals, we had these 3 errors that could come out of our renewal flow: an API error, a straight payment error, and a straight payment method error. And now these are all the errors that can occur. These were all the errors that could occur, but they were being treated as just these 3. Each of these 17 errors has different characteristics. Like maybe we have to refund, maybe we can retry, maybe we should alert to an ops team, maybe we need to roll back something. So I'm gonna grab this quick and throw these just in a slide thing so I don't lose them later. All right, I'll fix the card in a second. That's not what we wanted. We want this one. Oops. Close that, close that, close that. These can all close. Let's just throw that on there. And we'll go grab the other one. Great. Okay, we got those. I'm heading into a journey for computer engineering in Miami-Dade College, and I'm just trying to understand the basics before getting into it. Appreciate your help a lot. Yeah, no problem. Feel free to, when you start learning to code and stuff, swing by stream if you got questions or need help with anything. What is this kraut? Dude, I would rather die than wear that. Actually, I would wear that as to be funny and actually have fun wearing it. Is it? I don't know. I think it's just... Oh yeah, it must be looping. It's literally looping. Do you see this? Dude, Spotify is so good, chat. I cannot tell you how good Spotify is at engineering. Everyone sees this? No loop. Loop is off. We have things queued up. We've got ABBA next. ABBA. I don't know how to say that. Dude. Everything is just Lil Dicky now. I don't make the rules. No, I said, there we go. I would never gaslight Anders ever. It would just it's like I would rather die than treat Anders like that. All right, what we want to talk about: the power of an error. I really want to capture here. I think I want to capture extracting, refactoring domains renewals to self-support serve. Yeah. What code samples do we want in this? Let's see here. How do I want this to flow? Why we're betting on effect? Yeah. Yeah. I might recall back to this slide. I'm gonna have to probably blur my screen a bit because I'm gonna have to go through actual Vercel code to pull out small snippets and make them generic for this. I actually want to come up here and let's make this TLD and TLD price cache. And then this that'll become that. That'll become that. This becomes I don't know, code snippets. Useful patterns and code snippets. I don't know what we'll call that. So how you spell useful? I feel like there's another L in there. Nope, I was right. Maybe we show composability across all parts of the system. And we'll say schema, retries, error handling, concurrency. Yeah, that's fine. I want to say / to do reference most recent effect podcast with mark prompt. Let's see here. We need to go make a meme at some point. Maybe I'll keep my chat on the right side of the screen today. If I could, does everyone see this? Why does nothing ever work? There we go. Here's a ticket, Dylan. What ticket? Listen, dude, I triaged the whole backlog and it was so cathartic just canceling all of your tickets 2 days ago. All right. Let's this will be Wix Engineering error image. Let's actually go grab that because I think I might still have that open. Or at least yeah, let's grab this and throw this in the slide deck because I'm gonna want to reference that. I'm actually gonna reference that image that we were just looking at here. This is like so much of what my React Miami talk is gonna revolve around. Let's just throw that there. I want to change the background. I wonder if I can get... Nah, I won't fuck with it. I'll attribute. Um, I don't know why I made this a subtitle. Ooh, probably. Um, we're gonna make that further down. I think we'll talk about I guess we could probably just move this to another slide. Improved telemetry, observability, and tracing. And then to do trace screenshot. And then we'll grab this. And the next part is that. Let's see here. I might skip this section and go to useful patterns because this will be fun because it's a bunch of code. So let's start there. And we'll yoink down here, and then we'll do this, and this will be, what did we say it was? The outline, this part. And do that. It's kind of this will be useful patterns. One thing I want to remember to do is shout out Attila from Zendesk. I don't even know if I spelled his name wrong. Let's go make sure we got that right. Dude, I like this. This music is good. You know what I can do? We can do this the easy way, because I believe Attila's speaking at EffectTS. Hopefully. Yeah. Y'all, go give Attila a follow on X. He is excellent. Very, very good engineer. And a very nice dude, too. A lot of wisdom. He was on a podcast with Johannes from the founder of Prisma talking about Effect. And it is so, so good. There's so many good nuggets of wisdom in there. Sorry, let me update to today. Command update today, working on conference talk slide decks. Working on a conference talk for RVA.js and effect days. Dylan doesn't work on Ticket, he works on Vibes. For how long have I been coding? I've been coding since I was in 7th grade. It was the first time I took a Visual Basic 6 course in 7th grade. What year would that have been? I graduated high school in 2011, so we can walk backwards from there. So like 2000, since 2006 ish, probably I've been writing code. I took that Visual Basic 6 course when I was like 12 or 13, and then I got hooked and I started learning like web design and JavaScript. And I did JavaScript for, a year or two in middle school. And then when I was in high school, I got really into World of Warcraft and I started writing Lua for making World of Warcraft add ons. So I wrote a lot of Lua in high school and kept fucking around with JavaScript. And then I went to college. My college education was a joke. I got really lucky that I landed an internship at State Farm, and my first job was like enterprise Java development with some JavaScript, and the rest is kind of history. So, how old am I now? I'm 32. I've been programming for almost 20 years. That's disgusting. Holy fuck. It's the first I've said that out loud in like quite a few years, like thought about how long I've been programming. That's crazy, chat. In my case, I ended up in small companies. The best case I've seen was upon Homeland Security. I did defense contracting for quite a few years, and it's funny. I had a similar experience, I suppose. Some of the best code I've seen was from a defense contractor, but a very small defense contractor of people that really, really cared and were really, really good. On the other hand, some of the worst code I've seen was at the government and in defense contracting from companies like Booz Allen Hamilton and General Dynamics and that whole lot of people. My modeling career is almost over. Damn. What am I going to do? All right, chat. I'm gonna probably have to blur my screen. Actually, let me think about some patterns I want to grab from this code. I want to grab one. I definitely want to grab is with instrumentation. I would love to show Redis mutex is a good one. What else would be great? Retry. Why did that not format correctly? There we go. Is this Noah Khan? Is this a new song? I don't think it is. That's his old album cover. Yeah, 1993. Worst code I've seen is government Golang. Oof. Ross. Oof. I feel like it's... The thing that sucks is I feel like it's really hard to write actually really bad Golang code. Like, you actually have to be a bad programmer to write bad Golang code. Because, like, the places where Go can get really bad, I mean, you can write bad code in any language, right? But, like, to write actually really, really bad Golang code, you have to be, like, fucking around with nil pointers and not understanding concurrency. And, like, concurrency in Go is pretty easy. Um, I never wrote Go code. Does that make me a bad programmer? I didn't even know you were a programmer. I thought you were just some like homeless guy that shows up to stream every day. All Go code is bad. I would say most Go code is no. I feel like Go code is like average, right? Like that's like the beautiful thing about Go. Like I fucking hate writing Go, but like it's so good at being average, and that's why it works. Like for better or for worse, some of the best software I've ever written was in Go because it like one it doesn't entirely force you. It's better than most languages at forcing you to deal with errors and the unhappy path, which is like literally a whole section of my slide deck. We'll code for food. Currently, what annoys me is that I only push and submit migration scripts in the lack of unit tests. The reason lack of time. You would be surprised at how complicated writing tests can get in big distributed systems where, like, I've seen this happen a lot in the TypeScript and JavaScript world specifically, where companies will go all in on like Node on the back end, and for the past decade, it just has basically been the de facto standard for testing in JavaScript. And we don't have good solutions for dependency injection. And, it's not the most idiomatic practice in TypeScript and JavaScript and Node to, um, design around interfaces and adapters and ports. Like I know that's coming out of like the DDD book, which I think is just like overkill and gross, but like there is value in designing to interfaces, and that makes things like dependency injection and testing so much easier. So what I end up seeing is like in these large code bases is like you build up over time all of this implicit mocking with Jest, and Jest does this thing where it like mocks dependencies based on file paths and like the module resolution algorithm stuff, and like it's just so brittle. And because there's not a good story or standard practice for dependency injection or programming to interfaces in TypeScript and Node and JavaScript, you end up testing your ability to write good mocks, and you end up testing the implementation details of your code rather than testing the important properties of your code. And over time, the boilerplate and the foundations that you write to write code like that makes writing tests hard. It makes maintaining tests hard. So I get why tests can take a long time. Yeah. DI, dependency symphonies, blood, and isn't. Yeah. Go is the best mid language. Agree. All right. What do we want over here? Retry. What else would be good? I'm gonna blur my screen for a moment and go look through some code. Bear with me. I want to switch. There we go. Yeah, we'll do it like this. And I actually want to be on this other tab, but actually, no, this is fine. I don't know enough about PHP and Laravel and Symfony to have a good response, because DB uses secondary DB for tests, but All right, let's see here. My code is over here. Oh, that's another thing I could talk about that I probably won't quite have done for the conference talk. I need to write that down before I forget. 1 second. Shit. Okay. Nice. Happy holidays, Anders. You could just say it's a a holiday at Vercel. Every day is a holiday at Vercel. Dude, I don't understand. Dude, I'm convinced Salesforce will not be around in 10 years. You heard it here first, chat. You can clip it. Salesforce will not be around in a decade. I think they're going to get their lunch eaten by effectively the ability for companies to start using AI to roll their own CRM platforms. A good example of a company that did this already is Klarna. And then you have companies like Mark Prompt coming in. I just think they're going to get their lunch eaten. Like, they move too slow. They're too big. The entire industry of Salesforce is propped up by consultants who are even more expensive than principal engineers. Like, it's insane. Zendesk is built with Effect. Probably why it's more functional. Not entirely with Effect, but actually the customer support portion of Zendesk is actually built with Effect. That's what Attila was working on. The guy I linked to on Twitter earlier, he rebuilt their entire customer support part of their platform with Effect, and he's been there forever. I found him earlier. Attila. Yeah, this guy. He's awesome. You guys should listen to the podcast with him. Let me see if I can get a link. That's gonna be. I realized that my screen is still blurred, so let me just go back to what I was showing. And this is Attila, and he was on the podcast. Is it the blog podcast? Yeah, this episode. This is so good, chat. Highly recommend listening to it. Blur that. All right, let me just go in here and grab these code samples quick. Oh, that's a good one to have. Oh, shit. Paste that in, grab this, copy that, throw that in there. Why did that not paste? copy over here, paste, there we go. That's a good one to grab. This would be a good one to have. Never throw to effect. Okay, got that in there. Effect to promise settled result. That is a good one to show off too. Effect to, I'll show you guys all this in a couple minutes when I can close. I just can't show this code base completely on stream. TypeScript. It's a good one there. That doesn't take that anymore. So let me write a little to-do here. To-do make okay. Grab with instrumentation. Oh, create dual function is a good one. TypeScript. All right, we're gonna grab this guy, throw this in here. Chat, I have so many cool little code snippets that I use at Vercel for Effect to make it nicer to work with, especially for people that don't use Effect. Yeah, it's work code. Most of it, like everything I have up right now, like would not be a problem to show, but like I'm in the repo, so it's just I can't show that. I want to go grab with instrumentation. This is probably the most important piece of code that we have for Effect that I've written. I'll go through all this momentarily. Whoa, what happened there? Why did that get botched? Oh, it's because there's an example in the code. There we go. I wonder if I could escape this and if it would be okay. Where's my backslash? That fix it? There we go. Let's just keep it that way for now. Okay, then I want to get the Redis mutex. I spelled mutex wrong. Excellent. What up, Fubar? Oh, Anders, Justine just got home. Wait, did she end up DMing you? Or nah?
Perfect. Hold on 1 second. I heard Dylan's in. You said what?
Who are you on the phone with?
My mom.
Hi.
I muted myself.
Anders wants to see the TikTok.
Oh, I'll be back. I need to shower and get some work done first. You're streaming until 10, right?
Yeah, I'm streaming till 10.
Okay.
Let me check my meetings quick. Yeah. Oh, I thought our our fun meeting with our good friends Anders was today and not tomorrow.
All right. Anders, I'll be back.
Can you shut my door, por favor?
Come on, boys.
All right, got that one. What else would be useful to show in here? Por favor. Oh, this would be good, maybe to show. This might be good to show. I'm just gonna write maybe. In fact, I should just grab it and fuck it. Grab that. Pinot Lager plus Datadog. One of the hardest things that I encountered, I'm going to talk about this in my presentation, was getting everything wired up, like getting OTel wired up to Datadog and playing nice with our existing tracing. Like that was really, really hard and took a lot of effort. Maybe that would be fun. I just don't have I don't have the time to do it. I have so many cool ideas I could do for stream. I just don't have the time. I'll have more time in April. Once I get past React Miami and through all this conference speaking, life is going to be a lot easier. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Retry. This is going to be you. Throw in TypeScript. I've got one more snippet of code to grab, chat. Or no camel logo bouncing around like a DV. That's a great idea, Vafi. Listen, if somebody can make me this, honestly, have V0. Try to whip up something in V0, and if it's a hosted HTML page, I can just set it as a browser source, and it would work. I don't even know how to show off this code, but we're gonna grab it anyways. It's a lot. All right, I think I have everything copied. Let me close that window and I will unblur and we'll walk through all the useful code snippets that I have. Would be the only time we got OCaml in the stream. Listen, I started my whole first year streaming was all OCaml every day. Here we go. You know, we'll take a little hiatus here after I show you guys this stuff. All right, unblurred. And we'll move this over. We'll make this full screen. All right, so when I first started introducing effect at Vercel in the code I was working on, I didn't start with using effect itself. I started primarily with data.taggedError. And what a data.taggedError looks like, what is it? I could probably show an example in, actually, we can just go to the effect playground, right? So if we go to effect website, we go to here, playground, not podcast, play. What this ends up looking like is like if you have a tagged error, let's just say class, what would we say? Domains CSE rep, no, CSE SAS error extends data. So data is a package in effect, and it has this thing called a tagged error on it. So we can come in here and a tagged, oops, not tagged class, tagged error. And this is going to get our tag. Yoink that. In fact, I think it takes a string first, and we'll paste that in. And then we'll come over here and we'll say it's going to have a cause on it. So this will be the same cause that comes from, we'll make this error options, and this will be cause. Can I format? This is VS Code. I don't know how to use VS Code. Help, help. I don't know what I'm doing, chat. So like that. How do I format? What the hell? All right, anyways, you get this error that extends this, and if you make a new instance of that, so if we have our const error is new domains CSE SAS error, we'll just have cause be undefined for now. You'll see that this thing has on it a tag. So this is super, super nice because this tag is going to be the same as whatever's passed in here. So in TypeScript, when you have a function that throws, so let's say we have function myFun, and in here we have a try catch, and we have a catch, and this will be our error. And we just throw a string, right? And we'll just say Anders yelled at a customer again, and then wished them a happy holiday on a non-holiday. If you look at what the type of this is, it's unknown, right? It loses its type information. We could throw a number, we could throw a custom error. If we threw this, we lose it. But effect tracks errors for you. And a good example of this, I have this in my slides here, is right here. This code sample right here is typed error tracking. So let's say we have this renew domain action, right? It takes a domain name, and then it's going to query a domain. It's going to enrich the domain with some data, and then it's going to renew it. Each of these functions returns an effect that, so query domain will return a domain if it succeeds, or it will return a domain not found error. So here immediately we can see that the error is being tracked for us, the type of the error. And then enrich domain takes a domain. So the successful value of enrich comes into, from query comes into enrich. Enrich domain returns an enriched domain, and this can return an enrichment error. And finally, renew domain takes an enriched domain and returns a renewed domain with a renewal failure. As we call these functions in code, what effect does for us is it's going to track our errors for us. So if you were to look at like what this, the return type or the type, the return type of renewed domain action is right here. It is an effect that returns a renewed domain, right? And the type system for us composed all of these errors together as we called them. So when we look at this calling, if we look at this, in a package on the whole other side of the mono repo and we import renew domain action and we call it, we'll automatically see at the type level that it can return a domain not found error, an enrichment error, or a renewal error. And it automatically unions those together and tracks it for us across the code base. Where if we were just using normal TypeScript try catch, every time we throw an error, we lose all of our type information. It becomes unknown. This tag also makes it useful because you can have things like, let's just say I come in here and I'll return a new, actually we can just grab this, right? Let's grab that, copy that. I feel weird using my mouse. Wow. So now our program can return a, we gotta yield that to make it fail. You'll see that it can fail with a domain CSE error. And if we come in here, we can use a effect combinator for catch tags, right? And in this, we have cases, and it automatically knows the errors that can be thrown. And I can take it and I can grab this and I'll get a function, and this will be the body. So this will have cause on it. If we were to look at this, it'd be error.cause and tag, it's going to narrow. So if we had other errors, it would be, let's say we had like an error with a domain on it, like this would narrow it down. So it's super nice for handling errors. Data.tag, nice. My first one was task either back in old EffectTS days. I never used EffectTS. Yo, Dylan, appreciate you stopped by last night. Yeah, dude, I stuck around pretty late last night. I was working on some work stuff, partially this and some work stuff, so I wasn't chatting as much. But shout out to Colin, who also streams and is doing some cool stuff. Actually, not all that dissimilar from some of the stuff I was doing with R10. Everyone give our boy a follow. What about throwing a custom error? Then you can, for the instance of type, I mean, you still lose the type information, right? And then you have, like, it's verbose. Like, you should absolutely, if you're not using like effect or never throw, you should still 100% be using custom errors and doing instant of on the type. But that is still pretty tedious, and you don't get like the composability and the tracking at the type level for you without using like a result type from like never throw or your own result type. It's actually what I'm going to be talking about at EffectTS, at React Miami. All right. So the code snippets that I have found useful at my starting to build services at Vercel with Effect is, I already noted that I basically started with data.tagged error, and at the time micro wasn't out yet, or maybe it had just released, but we have a bunch of devs that really like never throw at Vercel. So like using never throw with tagged errors is like a perfect fit. And for people that don't know what never throw is, also highly recommend checking out if you can't go all in for whatever reason on Effect. Never throw is essentially a port of Rust's result type. Yeah, I've got to talk at React Miami. Let's see if I'm I should be on the site, React Miami. Yeah. Throw, try, catch in the bin, level up your React error handling. NeoVim user. Throw, try, catch in the bin, level up your React error handling with the results type. Tired of guessing if that imperative function throws, or maybe you're losing sleep from being paged for an unhandled promise rejection axiom. Error handling is insidiously difficult to get right in React and TypeScript. Salk introduces the the result type, a simple, powerful, and pragmatic game changer for managing error in React applications. We'll explore how to leverage result types in conjunction with React's error and suspense boundaries to create more robust, type-safe, and maintainable code. Say goodbye to expected crashes and hello to graceful, typed, and exhausted error management that your future self and your team will thank you for. I don't even know who I'm sharing the stage with here. I haven't looked at the other speakers yet. I gotta go follow all these people on Twitter. Adam Rakis. I know Adam. Oh, I'm a big fan of Isabella. She works at Disney. Yeah, works at Disney. Yep. I've spoken with Chance before. Oh, Leah's speaking? Hell yeah. I didn't know she was speaking. That's awesome. I've been wanting to meet her. She streams too. She's great. I'm very excited. All right, so yeah. Basically, because we have a bunch of code that is already using never throw and result types, I end up calling a bunch of like never throw code from effect code, right? Just from working in a giant TypeScript monorepo with like over 100 other developers, right? Like we share code, and there's code in other packages that uses never throw, including code I've written. So I use this simple little utility function right here, which takes a never throw result, which has a success value, which is A, and an error value E. And we basically just map it. In fact, we can even get rid of that right there. And we map it to a effect of AE. And the easiest way to do that is results never throw class has a match function on it. And on the match, the first function passes the OK value, and the second function gets the error. So we just call effect.succeed and effect.fail, and we can instantly map any never throw based API to an effect API. This has been super, super useful. This pattern is really popular, I think, in an effect in general. It's basically like this concept of wrapping existing SDKs that are promise based. I should really find an example of this. Find example. But this pattern, like you guys, if you've watched me on stream, you've seen me do this pattern before, for sure. Like, in fact, I can probably show this right now. If we go to, we can go up to code and personal, or I have that under work. Yeah, R10. If we go look at my job processor that I wrote for the financial coaching app that I've been working on, a good example of this would let's look at resend. So resend, we just get the typical resend client, and here you can see that exact pattern we were just looking at, right? We have this function, we have this type that has a client on it that just is a straight up property with a client, and then we have this use function. This use function takes a callback or another function. That callback is provided the client, and then that function returns a promise. And then this use function, this promise gets mapped to an error under the, or to an effect under the covers for us. So what this looks like in implementation is the way you implement this is you basically make a function right here, and then you automatically just wrap the callback in try promise. And if it fails, you wrap it in an error. So that lets you use promise-based APIs or SDKs or clients or whatever. Super, super easy. And if we look at what it looks like to use that, if we have our email client down here, you can see right here, this is a decent payload, but you say we yield our resend client, right? And then you can be like resend dot use, yeah, just like this down here. And then this is the resend client, and we just say emails send, this returns a promise, and that gets mapped to an effect that we yield. So if we like deleted this, right, you would see this as an effect that has a create email response, an email client error, and never.
Functions describe
Very, very useful pattern.
the world.
Why have both in the same project? You're talking about never throw and effect. And the answer is because I work in a multi-million line TypeScript monorepo with over 100 other developers. Okay, so we got never throw to effect. We have this wrap service. Then we have this function is useful so I have a bunch of code written in effect for domain services. So there's a bunch of older domain services that, for context, domains is like one of Vercel's oldest products. Like it was written like almost 8 years ago, and the code is, hasn't changed dramatically over the years. It's been like kind of a maintenance mode. So I'll go back into the old domains code and I'll want to use some of the new effect stuff I want, or like I'll provide this for other folks to use. And rather than returning like the exit type from effect, which I think can be a little confusing, I map an effect to a promise settled. So like if you have ever used promise.allSettled, this basically takes all promises and returns them into a object that looks like it has a status, which is like fulfilled or rejected. And then if it's a rejected one, it will have a reason, and this will be like unknown. So this is what it looks like if it fails. It's basically a glorified result type, right? And if it is fulfilled with some type T, which will be value. So to make calling effect code from async promise code a little bit nicer, I provide basically a function. I'll wrap our runtime. In fact, this should just be, that shouldn't be D2R. D2R. This should be changing that. This will be never. And I don't need this now. So I'll pass it my runtime, right? My runtime is going to be a JavaScript object that has all the dependencies needed to run my code. And then I can basically end up running an effect from async code using this and getting back a result type. Is this markdown public? Can you share this with us? Yeah, I can actually, I'll put this on my GitHub right now. I'll throw this in I'll actually just upload it to my talks repo. Repositories, talks. Let me clone this. I don't think this is even up to date. It's somewhat up to date. Right, quit. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and go up, and I'll just git clone on. And then we'll copy EffectTS 25 into conferences, or into, what was it? Talks. I guess I can do move. Come on, fish. So if we go into talks now, we should see EffectTS. Yeah, let me do that. Add EffectTS. Git push. All right, now that should be over here. And the markdown is right here. Let me grab this fact, how can I get good at TypeScript and generics like you do? It is unfortunately just like a time thing. Just writing a lot of TypeScript, building the intuition for working with complicated TypeScript generics is just, you just got to do it a lot, and eventually you will build that muscle memory. I think I don't love TypeScript's type system and syntax for a lot of things, but yeah, you just gotta keep going. I wish I had better advice, but that's unfortunately the truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll go through some of this too. In fact, we might be easier to look at over here. Eh. So some other useful patterns we have in here is, probably the most important pattern or snippet of code that I have at Vercel is actually this with instrumentation function. This abstracts a bunch of the things that you generally want to pipe after an effect. So like you'll often see after an effect, you'll do like dot pipe, and you'll do like effect dot, tap error, effect dot tap, effect dot retry, effect dot with span, effect dot annotate logs, and it just creates this big block of code, and it's noisy. And this is a little tool that I made, or a little snippet of code that I use to help. Can I snooze ads? Snooze. Yeah, Matt Pocock stuff is a great place to start. Where is the with instrumentation? Right here's with instrumentation. And we have like a Datadog tracing package at Vercel that does some similar things. So it kind of feels familiar to what we have like in our existing code outside of Effect. But we have this instrumentation options. So this is going to be the object. So here's what like with instrumentation looks like, right? You would call it like with instrumentation. This would be span.name. And then you have like this object, and this object right here is this type right here. So this second argument has annotate spans with, and you can pass it a record. You can pass it attributes. So the difference between annotate spans with and just attributes is annotate spans with will take this record, and it will apply every key value from that record to every the current span and every child ancestor span, like recursively down through the stack. Attributes basically does the same thing, but just for the current span. Capturing stack traces, you can set whether it's a root span or not. Annotate logs with is effectively the same thing as annotate spans with, except it will annotate log events and structured log output with key values. You can attach a retry policy. You can set the span kind, which is like these map to Datadogs or maybe OTel span kinds. Yeah, that's going to be OpenTelemetry span kinds. And then this span type is Datadog span type. You can set a parent. You can set span links. And then the default instrumentation options, which are applied every time you call with instrumentation, is root span is false. There's no retry policy. The span kind is a server, and the span type is a function. And then the implementation is that it takes the name and options. I should really update this to be a dual function, but takes span name, options, and then it takes any effect, and it pulls out the options. We go and get the current span from the current, like our current span, which comes out of a thing called a fiber ref. We get it from the runtime. Yeah, I saw that message earlier. That's what I don't know if you caught me pausing in the middle of talking earlier. I saw that pop up on my phone. I think billing should be merging the code that fixes that. Like, I'll follow up with them today. Oh my god. I see what you wanted me to look at now. So Anders added a new emoji to chat, which is, what is the title of this? Anders yells at Dylan. Wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. All right, so then we log annotations. Like this was hard to figure out right here that I needed to add these log annotations to every log to get them to associate with the current span and trace in Datadog. Like that took me forever to figure out. We merge annotate with spans together, annotate logs with, and this together for our log annotations. And then we run our effect and we tap the error. And if it is an error, we will automatically, if you use with instrumentation, it will automatically annotate your span with the error, and it'll capture the name, the stack, the message, the cause. If you provided a retry policy, it will retry. Obviously, it'll annotate the logs, and then it sets up our span, and then it will annotate spans. And this is just so useful because like otherwise you would have this giant block every time after every effect, and now we can just add this with instrumentation and pass it some options when we need it, and it's just consistent and it feels like what we do with normal Datadog tracing. Create dual function. This is a cool one. I don't know if I'm really gonna talk about this that much right now, but this helps make in fact I tweeted about this. I don't know if I'll find it to do get tweet image for this. Let's see if we can go find that code. You don't say. Here. Yeah. So create dual API. I'm going to go to this tweet. So basically this create dual API function wraps a function from effect called dual, and it basically creates two functions from one for you. So this update function is wrapped with dual, and it lets us call it in two ways. It basically makes a function overload. So I can call tld.update and pass it a partial update, and this will return a function that then expects a TLD. And we can call this enable TLD function with a TLD, and it will apply this update. But we can also call tld.update with TLD as the data first and then apply the update, and this will completely call the function and update it. And the way this looks like in implementation is this dual right here. So you call dual, and in our case, like I renamed dual to this create dual API function, because dual in this case isn't super type safe, or it's hard to get type safe, or it's easy to screw up the type safety. So I made a little helper to use it, and you just pass it your normal function, and then you get two out for free. What up, Neil? I should have grabbed that screenshot. Actually, I'll grab a link to that tweet. What else is interesting in here? I don't know if I'm going to talk about the Redis mutex, but this is something that is really awesome and creates a really lovely API. It's a little complicated, partially because Redis semaphore is a not great library, but it's kind of the best one there is for doing semaphore and mutexes with Redis and TypeScript. So a Redis mutex can take a key, it can have an acquisition timeout, it can have max acquisition attempts, the refresh lock interval, lock timeout, and how often it should retry. A lock itself has a key on it and a promise which acts as like a signal. If the lock is lost, this promise will reject. Let's see here, what is interesting about this? So the internal mutex has, it uses promise with resolvers, which is a new ECMAScript feature that's baked into the language. Basically, promise with resolvers will return a resolve callback, a reject callback or function, and then the promise itself. So that's what this ends up looking like. And you can control that promise imperatively by using resolve and reject. So a really annoying and weird thing about this library, Redis semaphore, is that in fact, it's probably going to be easier if I just pull it up. Redis semaphore. I think this is a particularly bad design on their part, but it has this lock timeout, on lock lost. So this, you pass this callback in, and if you don't pass it in, it's going to throw this error like asynchronously, and it's technically like a floating promise, so it will cause like an unhandled promise rejection and crash your process. And there's no way to catch this without doing like process dot on unhandled on unhandled promise rejection, right? I don't know what the exact event name is, but it doesn't matter. And you have to put that at like the root of your application to catch this stupid error right here if you don't pass this callback. So what I do in our code is I set that callback to be this function right here. So it gets this lock lost error, which is the same error as you're seeing here. And then I use our resolvers that we set up in the constructor of this class to reject this promise, which is the same promise that sits on this lock, which consumers see. So when you get a mutex, you get a lock back, and you can basically pull or await this lost promise. And if it ever rejects, you know you lost the lock and it won't crash the process. So you can do something like promise.race and look at the lock.lost promise and then do your computation. And if lock lost rejects, you know you have to abort the other action and not finish it because you don't have access, you don't have the lock on the resource anymore. So this was super useful. That's impressive, but still a lot of work. It is, but when you're dealing with distributed systems, like this is the kind of stuff you need. Like whether you're in Effect or like we have a implementation of something like this that is more error prone and just plain TypeScript. Like you need to be able to handle this stuff. the design of my implementation or the design of Redis semaphore? Because this is internal library code, basically, this internal mutex. You don't really work with that. Oh, yeah, totally agree. So I added some more helpers on our mutex here. Oh, we have an add in progress. Oh, wait. I'll go scroll some Twitter while we wait for ads to be over. I think I kind of agree with this take, but I actually think Notion is getting better. Oh, I didn't know that Notion didn't have offline support. My biggest gripe with Notion was that it was hard to search, but the AI search has made that so much better. Optometrist. Did I get that right? First try? I don't think that's right. I did get that right. I love fucking with Dave. Fucking with Dave is one of my favorite pastimes. All right, ads are over. We'll get back to the mutex in a second. Yo, congrats, Sally. That's amazing. Much deserved. Congratulations. That's huge. That will be a that's like a career trajectory changing move there. You'll have to keep us posted as you get started with it. Okay, back to the Redis mutex. I don't remember where I was. So we just talked about, we're talking about the internal. So I continue to wrap Redis semaphore because I don't like the API. So we have this release safely function. We stop refreshing the lock internally and we reset our locks resolvers. In fact, we probably don't need to do this because our locks are one-time use. This doesn't really matter here, but yeah, we could probably set that to just undefined and have it collect garbage, but that's okay. When we acquire the lock, we acquire it, we make the lock, we return the lock, we throw an error, which we'll catch right here. Yeah. So then the actual Redis mutex ends up having this function on it that is like with lock, and under the covers, what it does is it uses our internal mutex, right? We get the key and we get our Redis client. We pass all our options in, and then we use, we write three functions. We write our acquire function, which we call mutex.acquire. Then we have our use function, and we get our lock passed to us. And we have this lock loss promised, right? And then we have an effect passed in, right? Up here, we get a effect passed into our with lock. And I'll show you what this looks like in practice here in a second, because this is still very much internal library code. But we get a lock passed, we have our effect passed in up above, and then this is what I was saying about racing. So we do effect.race first. So whichever one of these effects either successfully finishes or fails and finishes, that's what we return with. So in our case here, this can just return like basically a success or an error. And this can basically resolve with an error, right? Because like if we end up getting that onLock lost callback, we reject right here. And that will cause this right here. That's that same promise right here. We just wrap it in an effect. And this will reject. And then we have a release, which we release the mutex. And then to run that all, we say effect has this whole thing of resource acquisition, and it works kind of like Rust's scope or Rust's lifetimes. We can say acquire, use, release, and you pass this function 3 other functions. So your acquire function, which means I want to acquire some resource to do computations on. And then you're going to use that resource. And then you're going to release that resource. And what this ends up looking like is, I can probably show this quick. Let me blur screen. Let's see here, that'll be here. When did this get locked? It creates a really nice API. Give me 1 second to pull the code up, chat. Actually, I could probably go look at my PR. This is going to be services, no, packages. And we're going to go to domains effect. And then source, domains registrar, internal, TLDs, sync. Yeah, here we go. I can show you guys this. All right, so this is the actual code using this mutex, right? So let me make this font bigger a little bit. So this code right here is, we work with an upstream registrar, right? So like Vercel is a registrar, reseller. We work with a registrar partner. And this basically syncs their TLD data, which is like .com, .org, .ai, all that stuff, with our local data stores. So we create a new Redis mutex, which is all the code we just looked at, right? Like this is the consumer API, like all that complicated internal library S code buys us this API right here. So we create a new Redis mutex and we give it a name, right? So this is just our domain registry sync. Basically, we're saying we only want one process globally to be able to work on this resource at a given time. And the resource is basically this sync. The lock can be held for 30 minutes. We can try to acquire the lock for 30 seconds, and we can try to acquire 3 times. We have a handful of errors in here, and then right here is the function. You just say sync mutex with lock, and you give it an effect. And that will properly protect you from having mutual exclusion over some resource with the mutex. So you can just say, just create your new mutex, call sync mutex with lock, pass in an effect, and you know you're basically the only process that can work on that safely. I think this is like a really, really nice API right here. What's the status of dot triangle? Dude, we should get it. The next ICANN cycle for new TLDs is in 2 years, and Vercel might try to bring some new TLDs to market. As a fact, what do you recommend as a way to have auth cache for access/refresh tokens? I need a little bit more I think I know some context. You could use like a subscription ref, or a synchronized ref would probably be a good option, Bafi. You could possibly use like make it reference counted. They have like RC stuff. I would probably start with synchronized ref or subscription ref, which lets you safely share the ref across fibers concurrently. And the subscription ref also lets you like basically notify other consumers when the internals of the ref changes. You don't have to use generators with effect, but I think you're going to see over the next couple of years generators get more popular. A good example of this is, I think I have a link to it in here. The creator of like Anthony Fu just put out a library, who is a very prolific TypeScript dev. Yank in here. So we see Neverthrow already using it. And now Anthony Fu, right? Creator of EffectTS, slide dev, all these things. Core team of Vue, Nuxt, and Vite, maintaining all these things. They just published a library called QuantSync, which ends up looking quite a bit like Effect. Boom. QuantSync. Yield. Basically, by using generators, you can remove the problem of function coloring, which is function coloring is basically the idea that as soon as you introduce a promise into your code, all of the code above it in the call stack also has to become asynchronous. So that's why they call it, they often call it, I think they probably call it red and blue functions in here. Yeah, the coloring problem, right? Let's say this entire stack is synchronous, and then this introduces a promise. Suddenly everything above it has to become promises. So generators let you effectively treat asynchronous and synchronous code the same. There is he put the performance cost right now on an M1 Max of yield is 120 nanoseconds. If that is your bottleneck in an application, you shouldn't be using TypeScript anyways. So any argument about generators being not performant is not valid. Thought I was using cache and validate with TTL to store. There's a cache library. I don't know if this will get you what you're looking for. Where is it at? There's a cache module. I don't know if there is a... Yeah. You can probably use this, Bafi. You can basically create a new cached effect, and you can possibly use this, or you can make your own cache. I would look into this a little bit, but I want to share that article because I do think this is important. I think people's gut reaction to generators is, I get it, it's weird, but like we've actually been using generators for a long time in TypeScript. Back in the day, oh Jesus, what was the name of that tool? Why can't I think of it? The Babel. Babel used to basically polyfill promises by using generators. And Brian Winchester actually has a really good meme on what function coloring looks like. I'm wondering if it is still on his profile. No, oh yeah, right here. This is a good example of the function coloring problem. So you have function A, B, C, D, E, and then you have async function F. As soon as async function F puts his hand in the middle, everything else becomes async. That's exactly what function coloring is. Did he just send you that?
No.
All right.
I already sent him the TikTok.
Oh, you sent him the TikTok?
I did. We're friends now.
Oh, God. What did he say about the TikTok? Bessie gone rogue. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to play this because I think it's hilarious.
Is the sound coming through?
No, let me pause. This is going to make sense to absolutely nobody except for Anders.
I mean, I can play it on my phone.
No, don't do that because it'll... Ridiculous. I was triggered when Justine sent me that.
Did they see it? You paused something.
I paused music.
Ah. Okay. I gotta leave.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It was super low. That's okay. Why you call generator and typing is just a different type of function in plain JavaScript? Not exactly. Generators have like a runtime component to it, and they work different. They work pretty differently than a normal function. They're pausable and resumable, and you can pass data back in and out through them, which is what enables that ability to treat async and sync code the same way. That's basically what Bessie does to me every day. Bessie takes me to Pound Town every day and ruins my day, and I become Bessie's bitch every day. Same with Unders. We both become Bessie's bitch every day. What else? Getting the logger set up was a pain in the ass. Oh, this was a cool, fun little module I made. I made a little retry module to basically provide some common sense retry policies across our code base. So like we have a default exponential backoff policy that people can use. We have a no retry policy. We have a retry once policy. We have a tool for making exponential backoff policies. So like if you were to make an exponential backoff policy, just take some options and you set it up and you return it. That's like, it's so easy. I love it. So our default exponential backoff retry is a delay of 100 milliseconds. There's a growth factor of 2. It jitters and it retries 3 times. How's you today, Dylan Mulroy? You open to Next.js questions? Yeah, sure. I am not as caught up on modern versions or the most recent version of Next, like Next 15. I've mostly been in backend land for the past like 6 months, but I can absolutely try to get you answers. Oh yeah. Fabric. You're totally right. It is plain JavaScript. TypeScript doesn't add anything to the language. Like TypeScript gets erased away at runtime. That's not necessarily true with Bun and Deno, but in general, it really doesn't add any runtime features. The exception is enums and namespaces, but those are basically getting deprecated. I use Arc right now for my browser. All right, let's see here. I feel pretty good about the useful patterns. So let's write our takeaways. Yeah, I've seen Zen, but I don't like Firefox's DevTools, and I feel I don't want to switch to using Firefox as like the underlying browser engine. If Zen switched to Chromium, I'd be excited. I actually tweeted about this the other day. Let's see if I can find this. This could not have been that far ago. Yeah, right here. Dreaming of the 2026-2027 Zen browser pivot from Firefox to Ladybird browser. This would be, I would be so stoked if that happened. I'm very, very bullish on Ladybird. This is one of my favorite projects happening right now. And I will probably sponsor, um, Ladybird with my tax return because I think it's that important of a project. You've been yapping a lot? I know. I'm working on a conference talk. And part of the yapping has been me like talking about the things I'm going to talk about in my conference talk just to see like how I want to talk about them and how like off the cuff my delivery on these things is. So I've like been making mental notes on how I want to explain and talk about these things as I've been streaming today. What are good commit practices in Git that beginner programmers often overlook? It's almost like playing an RPG game. Mayhad, commit commit always and often, right? And if you can, make your commits atomic. And that I shouldn't even use the word atomic. Make your commits when you do a commit. Try to make your commit such that it's in a state that the code can run, and then just do tiny commits like that, right? And you'll thank yourself over time. I don't like lean on commit comments that heavily because like often they just get squashed and lost. Um, but tiny commits let you bisect easier, let you get diff over time easier. Yeah. All right, so let's go grab that last takeaways, and this will be so we're going to talk about recap, search by. I want to talk about cluster, exploring effect cluster for domain renewals and domain and cert renewals. Actually, we don't need to recap that. So we'll just say we'll have a pros. We'll just say positive takeaways. Then we'll say challenges. And let's start with challenges because the positive takeaways are overwhelming. Let's say this is going to be looking to the future. Recap, search/by. Hope to talk with Johannes after release. Datadog was a huge challenge. Tracing, integration. HTTP with Vercel's internal web framework built on micro. Low level APIs and large API surface. Often needed to consult the Effect team in Discord. AI, although this is getting, I know for a fact this is changing soon. AI knowledge of Effect and usefulness. Like, what is the tool to create AI txt file from Git repo? We'll just say API docs plus repo exceed most context windows, which reduce. What else was challenging? With existing code. Positive takeaways. Answers to the most common problems we have at Vercel. So it's like standardization, dependency management, error handling, retries, consistency, once the foundational primitives are built, it's like building with Legos. And you are often faster at writing. Easier to maintain and refactor. Reference, mark prompt, podcast again. Theory that it may unintuitively be easier to onboard devs due to guardrails. OTel is amazing. OTel integration is amazing. Looking to the future, exploring, hoping to start internal lunch and learns, and advocating more broadly for adoption. All right. So I have 2 more sections to write. And some of that is actually stuff I'm going to work on today at work. So that's good. I guess I can start the domain search by section while we're here. We'll write this section here, and I guess we can keep going. Case study. Where is that symbol? Domains search by. Is that what we called it? Yeah. Will be built fully on Effect. Will power domains search by registrar. In fact, that's really what we should call it. Aiming to be the fastest domain search by experience on the web. Fill the gap that Google domains left. Actually, we should bump this here. And this will be, additionally will power domain renewals, power all registrar services, e.g. domain renewals, transfers, team moves, what else? Yeah, we are, chat. Let me catch up on chat here. I'm running the latest next. I need to implement lazy loading on image tags. From wherever it's automatic, but it doesn't appear to be, as images seem to all interloaded. Any ideas? I actually don't know much. I can't answer that question. I'm sorry. If you go ask on the Vercel community forums, that'll be a good spot. Sorry, I missed your question earlier, Rich. I'm going to be honest, my commit messages are awful. My PR descriptions are lovely, though. All right. Or write the TLD tooling. I'm doing that today. That's what I'm writing today. Pricing, and we'll just say further TLD management. I'm planning on releasing the endpoints today for us to manage TLDs. I have like a couple PRs to get in for that, but it's looking pretty polished. It's actually pretty dope, if I may say so. Like I have this API. I took inspiration from Stripe's API, where like Stripe has this thing where they have like their Stripe client, right? Let's say it's the Stripe client. And then they have this API where it's like name-spaced, and it'd be like invoices and then some action, right? Like action. Or maybe it'd be like payment intent, right? I really, really like having this like really nice all-encompassing client that has namespaced APIs. So I'm copying that for our internal Vercel registrar client. So it's going to, I put it on the release calendar to hold my feet to the fire. So I actually have accountability to ship. So the Vercel registrar client that I'm building ends up looking something like, let's say Vercel domains registrar, and it's going to be, let me do this in a new file, actually. We'll do this in actual TypeScript. So we'll have a type, and it'll be Vercel domains registrar. Oh shit. Oh shit, chat. What up, Janet? How are we? How is life? How is stream? Chat, give Janet a follow if you already haven't. Welcome, Raiders. I'm working today on, as my title suggests, I'm working on my conference talk that I'm giving at RVA JavaScript conference in Richmond, Virginia on Friday. And then I'm giving the same conference talk in Italy at EffectTS next week. Life sucks, stream good. Well, I hope life gets better. But I'm glad you at least had a good stream. Are you going to EclipseCon? I run EclipseCon, Backhop. You and I should be the future organizers of... oh yeah, I'll get you a booth. Real talk, chat. I am helping run SquiggleConf, which is the de facto gold standard of developer tooling. Anthony Fu will be speaking, Jake Bailey, Shelly Vord, TJ are our launch speakers. We're opening our CFP. Our CFP is open, so if anyone is interested in talking about dev tooling, please submit. Christoph spoke last year. Yep. So we get dev tooling folks from across languages and ecosystems and get them all together. And like a really amazing part of SquiggleConf is that these teams and tooling authors are all in one place together. So like not only do you get quality conference talks, but the devs building the tools all of us use get to be in one place together and kind of like cross-pollinate ideas, and kind of work together for a couple days. It's really amazing. I think it's a special conference. You could absolutely submit a bash stack talk. That could be a really fun talk, Bad Cop. I'm just saying. All right, so what this API ends up looking like. So we have a couple top level APIs on our registrar client. So we'll have like I'm still not used to using freaking Copilot again. We'll have things like create, and this will be a function, to create a TLD. And we have just some basic CRUD operations, right? And then we have a sync, and this takes like a registrar. This will sync with our registrar. Then we'll have things like domains, right? And we'll be able to buy a domain on here. What is my key binding for this? Yep, there. This would be like buy, read, right? All these things would have like orders. And then you can basically use that and then just do all the operations on anything Vercel domains registrar all from one client. And it's going to be super lovely. So I'm kind of copying this like namespaced API idea from Stripe. I might work on some code for this last bit of stream. I don't really feel like writing any more Markdown. I kind of have a pretty good layout of like the entire talk here. I just need to translate it over to slides and then make some diagrams for the price catch and the metadata sync. Some mermaid charts probably. All right, let's quit out of this. And we'll add that, and we'll push, update, whatever. And then we'll jump to the kick, and we'll pull. I have some changes here. Nix flake update.
Functions describe the world.
I want to make a couple changes to my Vim config from yesterday. We did a pretty big refactor of my Vim config yesterday on stream. Not a big refactor, but it was the first I've updated my NeoVim config in like quite a while, like 6+ months yesterday. Yeah, this was probably the big one here. I replaced endem CMP with Blink, which has been feeling pretty good. We themed Blink to, what is up with this formatting? Good God, GitHub. Like, does GitHub not realize that like it's got room to work with here? Okay. So let's tmux into here. Is tmux working? There we go. I don't know why fish isn't launching. But let's go to config. And let's go to zkick, vim in here, and I'm gonna go to blink. Yeah, I realized I didn't like Copilot in my autocomplete, so I got rid of that, and I'd rather have the inline ghost text. But I do want to update this to be, where's my accept? I want to say that I want A, Y, which is option on Mac, to be accept. And I want AN to be cancel as well as Control C. So I have both of them. That's probably pretty good there. And then I updated these to be able to use tab. I need to get the, I think I need to add back in because I don't think I have. Yeah, I can't just press Control K and get the, oh, I can. Okay. All right, that seems fine actually. Yeah, I don't want Copilot in here. This can become 4 now because we only have 4 sources. I don't love the signature help because it just gets too noisy writing effect. All right, let's go back to R10 and we're gonna see how this feels. Let's run our app. Pn, or I guess we're running with bun run dev. Do you think it's worth to learn VI motions in VS Code? 100%. 100%. I think Vim keybinds, no matter what editor you're in, will make you, one, more effective at authoring code, and maybe like not even faster, but it will make it more effective, and like it just puts you so much more in sync with your tooling once you get the mnemonics in your head. Like it, yeah, I just don't even have to think about how I move around my code. It just like happens. Yeah. Even if I was using VS Code, I mean, I use Vim keybinds in IntelliJ and DataGrip. They're just the motions are like what, like 40, 50 years of polish and good ideas, and like the default keybinds for VS Code are dog water.
All right. We're not gonna have a lot of time to do anything here, but I'm trying to remember where I left off here. Okay. That actually, I'm impressed that worked. All right, let's see if we can go and edit these titles quick. Because then we'll be done with this page finally. Let's see here. We're going to go to source, lib. This is under routes, authenticated, main, client. Nope, admin, coach, client, ID, client dashboard. And then we have components, which is repeat sales opportunity. So let's come in here. Let's collapse this sidebar. And we're going to close that. I don't know why I have this here. I don't think I need that anymore. Do that. Let's do a vertical split, and we'll go to important data points, and we want to basically copy that header. Card header. Joint that. That's going to come up here. And we're going to put that there. This is going to become seven. We want a better icon for that. Let's go find a Lucide icon real quick. Probably like a recycle icon, I'm gonna guess, is probably what I'm gonna want. Ah, that's not what I wanted. All right, let's see here. We're going to, I need to get open Twitch chat so I can see what you guys are saying. Cool. Repeat. Could use one of those. Ooh, I kind of like that one. Calendar sync. You can also look at sales. Refresh. I kind of like that one. Calendar sync. So that would be calendar.
Speaks the gospel of the camel.
Why
I
can I not
speak the gospel of the
find
dunes.
this?
The sand is in
Thank
my
you
veins.
for the resub.
Come right on
Appreciate
camel
you
with
so
me
much.
today.
New haircut. Not really. This is what my haircut kind of always is. I just normally don't take a shower before I stream in the morning, so my hair is freaking crazy because I normally roll out of bed and go straight to streaming, and then when I'm done streaming, I'll triage some tickets, then shower. But this morning I showered first. Cheers, Aquia. Is that? Do I not? I might have to upgrade Lucide Svelte.
speaks the gospel of the camel. I speak the gospel of the dunes.
Thank you, A. Appreciate
Sand is in my
you.
veins.
Thank you,
Come ride
guys.
a camel with me today.
Y'all are the best. I have a customer with the opposite issue of that? That's weird. That's suspicious. I'll hit you up on a Slack call here in a couple minutes. Let's do bun update Lucide Svelte at latest. I think I can do that. Yeah, there we go. Now we have it. I just had to upgrade. Got a new icon. All right, let's see what that looks like. It complete. Oh, I killed the dev server. Come on. Repeat sales opportunity, that looks pretty good. We need some padding here. So let's add that padding quick. I don't have a meeting right at 10, so I'm gonna just wrap up this page. So we need, let's do some padding top here. Really, this should, there we go. Push that down, that looks good. And then let's copy this header and we'll go add that to self-assessment. And we'll go down here. And we'll throw that right there. We need an icon for that. Let's see. Why is the browser lagging? Assessment report. Do we have more clipboards? That's pretty good. Clipboard list. Clipboard pen line. I dig that. Let's yoink you. And we'll come down here and we'll just set that there. Some Green Day. Let's go. And this will be self-assessment. What? Why can't I accept that from Copilot? It's not letting me accept. Accept it. Take it. Weird. What if I do... Huh. I somehow broke that? I don't know. Get rid of that. And then we should see that pop up over here. We need some more padding. So we'll do a PT4, push that down. Great. I wonder how these would look with green icons. Then we'll go do the same thing for premium versus kept. 1 year, 1 month, and 13 days. That's crazy. That's crazy, Flap. I appreciate you hanging out. What is your favorite operator and why is it the null Kohlesensoperator? I can't wait to go back to Germany and then embarrass Kraut in public by being an American who tries to talk with a German accent everywhere. I need to copy that again. Premium verse kept. Premium verse kept. Then we need a icon, just need like a charts icon. Then that should look pretty good there. I want to make the height a little bit bigger on this thing. I want to give it a min height, I think. And what is the height at right now? This thing is 190. $256, that's a pretty good number. Ship it. And then that first part is key metrics. So I'll grab this again. All right, come in here and we'll go to key metrics and we will put that in there and we're gonna want a key. Let's go grab a key. And we're finally gonna be done with this damn page for the most part, chat. This page is taking me ages to get right because we wrote it and then we got it wrong. And we had to rewrite it for the client. And now we have it good. I genuinely, the next time I am in Germany, Kraut, I fully intend on us fucking hanging out. I don't think I will learn German, but yeah. Where's Ryan? Min height, 6 inches. Rip. All right, let's see. Let's go make the icons. See what this looks like as it's probably be the last thing I do before we wrap up, but Atlantis 400. That looks pretty good, actually. That 1031. There we go, chat. We got some things to. At least there's a good 3 inches is a lot, Nil. 3 inches is like a lot. Personality is very important. Probably the most important. This looks pretty damn good. And then let's, we have some overflow problems with this over here, but like for the most part, it's pretty good. I'm thinking about making this top bar sticky too. All right, let's see. I want to see mobile friendliness here real quick. Yeah, right there we got overflow. So if we have time tomorrow, I'm gonna work on my slides more tomorrow again. But we'll probably do like half time on slides and then the other half on this. This ends up looking pretty good. Like I think that looks pretty nice. Overall, we've got some overflow we got to fix. Mostly on that 10.3.1. But overall, I think that looks really nice. So this dashboard is the result of building one of these. Where is it? Where's the messy? Yeah, we translated this Power BI dashboard. Ignore all the red writing on it, but we translated this over to this dashboard, which I think looks pretty nice. What do you prefer, navigations on mobile desktop? Let's say sticky navigation or have effects like slide in on scroll up? I don't know if I have a strong opinion on that. I'm not very good at design. For everyone that's been around for a hot minute, you guys know I rely on V0 for most of my design. So I don't know if I really have a strong opinion or know what what's best when and like what's good for users. I mean, I think I have a decent idea for good UX, but like I'm definitely not a designer or a UX person. All right, I gotta wrap up chat. I gotta go help Anders take care of issues as always. Chart.js. It's Svelte.js's, or it's Chart.js's. Actually, you know what? I didn't even use the Svelte wrapper. I just used straight up Chart.js. We'll read Jack, working on Gleam, one of my favorite people to watch on Twitch. All right, y'all. Have a lovely Tuesday, and I will catch you all tomorrow. And we'll do probably about half the time on slide deck and then probably half the time on R10. So catch you then.